Greetings, fellow NickToons. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And we're back for a fresh look at an old classic.
NickToons
Movie Mom. You see, folks, early on in this channel's history, I attempted to review all the NickToons theatrical movies.
It did not go well. Mostly because Tiki was missing one key ingredient, a co-host.
So with years of experience under our belts and nostalgia for these memories burning brighter than ever, we thought this would be the best time to cover four of the most iconic Nickelodeon movies. About the one that started it all, the Rugrats movie on
NickToons
Movie Month.
Nick. Nickelodeon.
Bow. All right. And we're back. 5 years later, we're talking about the Nickelodeon movies again, Dragon. Let's hope this goes better than the first time I tried this.
Well, I think we're going to be safer, and we're truth in advertising this time around, folks. You know,
it's the NickToons Movie Month podcast.
And also commentary, so I think people know what they're getting with the commentary.
Yeah. So, man, oh man, Dragon, I'm coming at this with a hot take. All right, are you ready?
Yeah, what do you got?
This movie makes me freaking cry like a little baby.
Really?
Movie got me. This movie, it got me, Dragon. It got me. Like, here's the thing. I've always been emotional about the low of lows moment with, the banana pudding or whatever it is. Like, you want monkey, I'll give you monkey.
Basically,
and then Tommy seeing his reflection.
It's kind of the banana can enable.
Right. I've always been emotional over that scene, and then Tommy and Dil reconciling with each other. Dragon, in this watch, do you know what I got emotional about? Like, super emotional about?
Tell me.
The Spike thing.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, of course.
And it's a little detail that I never really noticed until this watch. Actually devastated Angelica is.
I know, right? It's kind of like the grumpy thing.
Oh, God, just thinking about it. It's just like, So, Dragon, here's my nostalgia for this movie. It's weird to think about a time like this in my life, but believe it or not, Dragon, because I see like 50 movies a year now. There was a time in my life when I was a little kid where I was actually afraid to go to the movie theater because I was like really afraid of the dark as a little kid. And so when the Rugrats movie came out, I did not want to go to the movie theater to see it. So here's the thing, Dragon. All my nostalgia for this movie, of course, let's just shout it out right now. It's about as iconic as those damn Scholastic book clubs. Dragon, those Burger King watches.
Oh, yeah, the Burger King, I know, yeah.
Watches with the banana scents.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Anyways, so I remember those. I definitely remember those. Dragon, there were schoolyard stories about this movie. And here's the thing. They couldn't keep the story straight.
Okay.
Especially in the ending, because people were like, yeah, the end, oh my God, like Spike dies and then a wizard shows up, and I'm just like, what? Okay, first of all, they kill off Spike, what? Wizard in this movie? What is, I thought this was just a Lost in the Woods movie. I had no idea there'd be a wizard involved. Like, I vividly, Dragon, especially, I had kind of a deja vu moment watching this. Tonight, especially on that bridge with Spike. Oh my God, I remember the moment where Spike comes back when I watched it for the first time, because I wasn't sure if Spike was dead or not. I knew that there was going to be at least an implied death, but I wasn't sure if he was, I don't know, I was a little kid, the internet wasn't, it was invented back then, but we didn't have IMDb or anything, or at least I didn't have access to it, so, I didn't know. At any rate, Dragon, it brought back a whole flood of memories for this movie. This movie, it might have one too many bits of crude humor. Ironically enough, Dragon, retroactively, I feel like the very few things that All Grown Up did in its existence is make this movie retroactively even better. Because we know how Dil grows up to be, and Dil grows up to be freaking weird, but a sweetheart of a kid at the same time. And I gotta say, Dil has always been kind of like one of the bright spots on All Grown Up for me. I've always enjoyed his, All Grown Up is a shit show, but I think Dil is probably the best character on it. So I don't know, Dragon. I kind of get a further appreciation of Dil in the Rugrats universe and everything. This movie is packs a punch, man. Excuse me if you hear me getting a little sniffly as we're going through the commentary.
Okay.
Dragon.
All right. So let's see. Boy, oh boy, this one. My big nostalgia for this comes from there were a number of movies I could count probably one hand, maybe additionally like a pinky on the other. But there are a number of there are a select number of movies that I remember, and I've kind of said this about a few other movies in the past. I'm just kind of lumping them all and go through a couple of them here. On the very early days of HBO, where movies would come on and be like a big event, like, hey, tune in. It was before it was like so commonplace you can DVR things now, but back in the day when you recorded on the very antiquated but beloved VHS tape, those great VHS tape memories, essentially. Where I remember I taped the number of movies that premiered on HBO, and I would watch them. Where I didn't have. It wasn't like my shelves and shelves of Toy Story in the various Walt Disney films. Right. It wasn't exactly like that. These are the ones I had like little sleeves and everything, and I've taped and I labeled them, put some nice labels on so I know what was on there. And this is one of those films along with the likes of El Dorado or Inspector Gadget, like a number of movies there. And because of that, it always kind of stuck to me because basically what those kind of indicate is that I rewatch those, the ones I kind of put the elbow grease into recording and kind of like it's like a big event. Like, hey, you're just kind of, you're going to be able to kind of, again, back when HBO premiering movie was a thing where it wasn't necessarily going to repeat all the time like it does now, where you record hopefully to rewatch it. And again, rewatching it, being a fan of the Rugrats, is like, oh man, it's I know I don't recognize, again, at a young age, it's like, hey, I recognize these characters. And
here's the thing, Dragon. Here's the thing about this movie, really quick. I feel like the screen time of everyone is distributed so well. It's really impressive.
You're right about that. Yeah. So the screen time is definitely distributed fairly. And in addition, again, it feels like. Yeah, it feels like the Rugrats, and at the same time, it's it was just seeing that in the quality. I'm going to be gushing over in this commentary is how, again, just seeing it kind of brought to the big screen, just seeing kind of the new rendering, seeing kind of the cells kind of brought to a theatrical quality, and that's something that's always enticed me ever since. And again, I'll say it here because it's the big thing I'm looking forward to this month. Kind of that Mask of the Phantasm quality of seeing a show brought to the big screen with a budget that represents how you as a fan feel about it. It's like, man, if they put the true money behind like the shows we held dear, imagine how great they look on a regular basis. Where Mask of the Phantasm on the big screen is like the great quality of Batman the Animated Series. As I've said to Tiki many a time, it's the blue meth of Batman. It's the the most perfected state of Batman the Animated Series, and this visually is the most perfected state you'll ever see with the Rugrats. It's kind of it's the '90s love fest we all hold dear with various Nick shows, and just kind of represent it at very very accurately in a theatrical context. That, again, even from a home watching on TV and watching a home video. It still holds up. Just that experience, that quality, that first time you watch it, you still feel that when you're watching it, not out of nostalgia, just out of pure kind of visual sensation. Like, yeah, I mean, this looks like it's such a enriching experience, even if you haven't watched this thing before. It's impressive. Mm-hmm. And I'll say it holds up in that regard. However, the story, and again, it's ever since I've been rewatching the Rugrats on the Splat, and I've told Tiki this as well. I've always rant about Dee Dee, and I have like all the things I used to look over as a kid watching the Rugrats. Now that
Dee Dee, as I said, we get an equal distribution of screen time, and every moment with Dee Dee is pretty painful. I will admit that. That's
the thing. So basically, Rugrats, ever since I've been rewatching since whatever the Splat started, I guess was like maybe 2013. I don't know. The point is, a few years back when I've been getting back into Rugrats, and it's been only kind of on a regular basis. It's like I just kind of these episodes of Rugrats have played. I notice all these. Yes, there are some flaws here, and I could definitely see. Yeah, this doesn't hold up as well as I remember. It's still the episode as a whole is like still nostalgic for him. It's like, you know what? Yeah, this they didn't really think that through, or like this character is really getting under my skin. It's like, you get emotionally involved or you get a little analytically involved. And I kind of had that experience with this movie as well as I'd have just watching the old episodes here and there.
Mhm.
That's kind of my thesis statement. The movie still looks as great as it ever did, but story was really
on this. Yeah, I think it's kind of underreported, Dragon. I'm glad you used the Phantasm comparison just with these movies in general. I think it's underreported just how well animated the Nickelodeon movies are in general.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, even with films later on that weren't necessarily Nicktoon related, like something like Rango. Again, Nickelodeon's always had a thing where they could.
Oh, Rango's got a fantastic look to it. Like that's not my favorite movie by any stretch, but
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Nickelodeon can do quality work in Tintin. There's a whole lot of films that Nickelodeon, when given given a project, they can really deliver on the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I guess it's all the nostalgia and kind of thesis stuff I got here. So I guess get into some background. All right, folks, I'm going to keep this as brief as I can because, it's the big start to everything here, and this was, of course, the big movie that kind of started it all. So, of course, the Rugrats was one of the original 3 Nicktoons in 91 with Doug and Ren and Stimpy. And interestingly, since 93, those 3 were trying to get movies off the ground. And I thought it was fascinating in my research here that through Fox, there was a deal with Fox, and this is funny, especially now when we're so obsessed with who has the rights to what nowadays. They had a deal through Fox around 93, I guess, and ironically, the film still continued to kind of be developed, and like some of them falter, of course, and they continued to be developed in the films despite the Fox contract expiring because it took so long to make the movies. The contract, with Fox, kind of went up in smoke essentially. Mm-hmm. And eventually, the way it worked out, Doug got Doug's first movie with Disney.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about that sometime, but that's a whole different game.
I got a lot of nostalgia for that one too. Maybe one day.
But my nostalgia for that movie is renting it and being like, "What the hell?" Because that was my first introduction to Disney, Doug, and I was like, "What is this?"
Well, you're not alone. That was my first Disney introduction to Doug.
Okay.
And of course, the John Kricfalusi fiasco that was going on, the movie always kept getting shelved because he would either be involved in the project or he wouldn't, and they'd be developing it with games, animation. The point is, things went crazy with the John Kricfalusi Ren and Stimpy movie that was in development. So that one just kind of went on the shelf. Yeah,
they want to turn me into triangles. I hate triangles. They're so pointy. I'll show you, Pointy. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead. That was from our hypothetical, Nicktoons Avengers pitch, folks. Like Ren going off about the possibility of being turned into CGI. Anyways,
I still love that rant, by the way. It's little triangle.
Oh, I do too.
Anyway.
I can quote every word of it.
So, from what I understand, Rugrats, again, I don't know if you knew this, Tiki, and this is kind of something that kind of happened upon, is that Rugrats was technically, and again, it was such a brief time, we probably didn't recognize it, especially experiencing reruns, I would assume, for the most part. Rugrats was canceled at a certain point, preemptively. But after, the episodes, after 65 episodes, which, of course, every animated show once gets 65, that's the syndication number. So you get 65 episodes, and that's probably why, if we didn't recognize this, they aired probably essentially for a year. They aired old episodes, and that's why no one probably noticed. But the thing is,
we were all kids back then. We would totally notice nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there are more historic examples, like with the Jetsons. Like the Jetsons episodes, that show was long gone. And they reran the episodes, and no one noticed for a couple.
Didn't the Jetsons have just a couple seasons?
Yeah, that's the thing. But it got reran so much, people thought there were more seasons.
Right.
Anyway, so what brought the Rugrats back were 2 holiday specials, 2 very notable ones, Passover and Hanukkah. Those are the ones that brought the show back because they kind of asked if they want to do a holiday because they owned the characters. Like, hey, why don't you guys do a holiday special? And they requested Passover before they did Hanukkah because they had felt Passover was a more important holiday in the Jewish community. There were a lot of Jewish writers on the Rugrats staff, and they had a good time with that. And then Nickelodeon loved the idea, and of course, then Hanukkah came by. And the point is, those 2 holiday specials, and this is after the Christmas special, of course. Basically, they got a lot of bases covered with the holidays, of course. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, those 2 specials kind of brought them back bigger and better than ever before because then they got the okay for the movie, and the movie was in the works in '98. we remember there was the Family Tree episode. That was the cruise episode where Dee Dee and Stu were on the cruise, and Tommy and Chuck are having their brother. It was a really good episode for Tommy and Chuck. He's kind of realizing they're kind of brothers in themselves, even without biologically having brothers.
Which is a nice kind of like foreshadowing into Dil in its own right.
Exactly, and notably with the Rugrats movies, they always have like a prelude episode. They usually have like something that kind of like ties into
Acorn nuts and diaper butts.
That's an unfortunate one, but yes. But yeah, so this was, and they kind of slipped this one under the rug too, because the very end, I don't know if you remember, Tiki, the very end.
That's the one with the goat too, right?
Coconuts.
The goat.
Yeah, it's the one with the goat.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, of course they had the ending with with Dee Dee coming out of the bathroom saying, "I'm going to have a baby."
Oh God!
It was a big kind of surprise. Like she was seasick the whole time. We realized, oh my God, it's because she was pregnant. Last, and this is a big one. I found out today, and this blew my mind here. Paul Germain. Of course, Paul Germain is kind of of course you got Class, you got Cuspo. Those are the main two associated with Rugrats, but you also have Paul Germain, who was he was like the Paul Dini of Rugrats, essentially. He was like the writer who was pivotal to it all, and he was he's like the unofficial third creator. He's involved in it. He's involved in the writing very much. He was like the A string writer. Paul Germain, he shares a lot of fan opinions about the Rugrats, and he's very he's not hiding anything. And he, in regards to this movie. Yeah, honestly, this movie was kind of the beginning of the end for him with Rugrats, because he stuck with it until 2002, but still going to this, they made a. Sorry, let me put it this way. They did the Hollywood thing with this movie. They didn't use the writers from the show on this movie, and in doing so, Paul Germain, he didn't write this, and he disagreed with the direction they were going, and they kind of stuck with this direction that basically he didn't like. The concept of Dil as a character, because basically it's giving. It's ceasing to make the Rugrats babies when introduce a younger baby, and that's kind of
sure.
So the point is, the writers not being involved and in the movie, and just kind of having be basically you're siloed with that new character. So now you have to make the show. You have to work and deal with the show, which kind of defeats the purpose of now it's not babies exploring the world. Now it's babies who are just kind of in the world, and now they have there's a little brother story going on.
And I think we can all agree that Dil actually being introduced into the show was sort of a jump the shark moment.
That's what I'm saying. This movie kind of facilitated the jumping the shark of it all. So.
But you know what, Dragon? Dil, to me, it's like there's classic Rugrats, there's post-Dil Rugrats. And Dil, I feel like is worth it just for this movie, but I don't know. I might have just an odd, abnormal, high opinion of this movie just because it reminds me a lot of the relationship I have with my brother.
Sure. Well,
and so there's definitely a lot of personal stuff there for me. Honestly, this movie's more personal for me than I bet the writers were even intending to get. So you know what I mean? There's some stuff that really hits home with me in this movie.
Sure. And regardless, I honestly just after learning that about Paul Germain, I gotta tell you, I kind of agree with a lot of his points. It's kind of like on a rewatch. It's gonna I watched this at least in preparation. Just watched this an additional 2 times. So I kind of the second time I kind of went with the Germain things. He kind of has a point. I kind of saw a few things, but we'll get into that. Lastly, I don't know if you remember this. It's with nostalgia at all. They have the cat dog short in front of this.
Well, no, I don't remember that because I didn't see it in theaters.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, it was it's available. It was available on one of the VHS tape. They changed there were a couple cat dog shorts that were released on the VHS tape, or just how it was. You probably seen it, but it wasn't attached to the movie when you saw it, possibly.
Probably.
It's like a 5. It's basically it has the cool thing about it, the reason I bring it up though with Cat Dog Fett, it had the theatrical quality with Cat Dog though, and that was great for a 5-minute short. And they were fully rendered and everything. It was just it looked great. And so basically, Cat was waiting to hear essentially lottery numbers, seeing if he was going to get you get a big cash prize or something, and his dog just drag him before he's dragging him away from the radio, chasing a garbage truck like he usually does, or chasing he's chasing a ball, he's just chasing a tennis ball instead of a garbage truck, hence the Fetch title. So that's the whole. It's I'd recommend it. So Cat Dog Fetch. If you want to see a theatrical, 5-minute short, it's good. Anyway. Okay.
All right, so folks, I think this is going to be a really fun conversation. I definitely don't think we're going to need to rely on the movie to keep this conversation going. But if you want to watch along with us, this movie is very accessible. It's on Netflix, so go ahead and queue it on Netflix, or if you own it on, on any home video. Home video is such an outdated terminology, isn't it, Dragon? Anyways.
Well, it was our truth.
It was our truth. Oh God.
It was our truth.
I like how you put that. I like the wording on that. Anyways.
Thank you, D'Onofrio.
Okay, Dragon. So I am going to go ahead and count up to 3 and then say go. And then when I say go, folks, that's your cue to press play on the movie. You ready, Dragon?
Yes.
Okay. All right. The Rugrats movie in 1, 2, 3, go.
Paramount.
Yep. I remember when Paramount used to be a theme park. Anyways,
company. So I was reading.
So I will never get over how weird this bumper is for the NickToons movie logo.
Yeah, but I like how they change it up each time.
They do change it up each time. I'm just saying this one in particular is utterly bizarre. You've got that weird dog thing, and then it being squashed by the big purple, like Monty Python foot.
Oh, this was great. So what we're seeing now, folks, we're going to try to keep it conversational, by the way, too. So I love the opening of this movie, where it's a good build to Nickelodeon's first big movie, with the fact, okay, you remember this on your TV screen. Now it gets closer and closer with kind of the big almost 3D effect with the bottle squirt here. I thought it was a great way to open the movie.
Yeah, definitely, and especially, I feel like that ages really well as time goes on, because you're like, oh, I remember watching it in front of the TV. It definitely it's a great intro, and I think these Nickelodeon movies in general, I feel like that's one of the things that runs through them is their ability to have really fun introductions. So speaking of fun introductions.
Yeah, so what I love, this is great what the movie does here, is that we do capture some hallmarks that we are familiar with the Rugrats show, but we're seeing in this beautiful, presentation that we're seeing now here, where it's, we always have like a bigger than life fantasy. We have those really up close shots for like the Rugrats in the middle of a fanciful adventure, and we're doing that here.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have some great foreshadow for our ending and for our adventure here. Of course, we have a monkey theme going on here.
Yes.
And there's intense lighting here. Again,
monkeys and Reptar. I love the Reptar temple aesthetic.
Exactly. So we're foreshadowing a number of great things here. Kind of reminds me of like in Toy Story 2, where you foreshadow a lot of things at the beginning and you pay it off by the end. It's like something that Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3 had in common in kind of the opening foreshadow there. So I love that we kind of have that here. Also, there's a little fun fact. I don't know if you knew this. Spielberg loves the Rugrats.
Does he? No, I didn't know that.
I knew he loved it at the very least. He loved it at the time. I don't know how truthful he was. I don't know if he was just hamming it up for the press, but I'd like to think he really liked it because, again, all the Indiana Jones references we have in the Rugrats.
I mean, that's true. That's true.
I'd like to think he likes it.
By the way, Dragon, I vividly remember the N64 version of not the Rugrats movie, but specifically like the Indiana Jones. They literally made a whole N64 game out of the Indiana Jones bit in this movie. I'm not kidding.
Okie dokie Jones. That's great.
Yeah,
I love this. And it's a little subtle thing. I like that out of all of them, Chucky is dressed most like Harrison Ford.
Of
course, this is what Dee Dee is typically relegated to, just the big...
And there's Dragon's favorite character, folks.
Just the big, appropriately as the boulder from Raiders that tries to kill our main guy. That's what Dee Dee's role is.
In case you're not following along with us, Dragon really has a distaste for Dee Dee.
Yeah, it's like I don't care for it. And also, it's a fun fact though. Did you know that Dee Dee and Stu are based on the creators? It's based on Arlene Claspy and
I did not know that. No.
Yeah, and actually, I've seen Arlene Claspy, and she does have a bit of a Dee Dee look to her. So it's nothing against her.
That's not too triggering if you meet her at a con or something.
No, come on. However, it is funny though, and they do make references so that Dee Dee, the writers made fun because the writers battled. It makes me a little concerned about Claspy because the writers battled her a lot of the time because she questioned the direction of the show here and there, like Angelica's too mean, or like basically the babies are too adult-like, like they're too too cognizant, and what they did is they created Lipschitz to call her on it. That's why Lipschitz was created, to have like a pop psychologist to make fun of her and all the writing doesn't. And Garber Kuspo would have to referee the battles between the writers and her.
You know what's ironic about that, Dragon, is that like the mere existence of Lipschitz is what I find insufferable about Dee Dee to begin with.
Yeah, it's kind of, again, it's like the snake eating its tail in that regard.
Right.
It's like a constant, like, just the spider, and it's fueling the fire.
Because I truly feel the worst moments in this movie with Dee Dee are the Lipschitz things.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's one of the big flaws of Dee Dee in general, though. She's always hung up on the, she's a book parent, and book parents can wear thin very easily.
Okay, so let's talk about just how fun this opening party scene is. I love seeing all these characters together, even, minor bit characters. We have Dee Dee's parents in the mix.
Yeah. By the way, this bugs me.
Remind me who this woman is standing with Dee Dee and Betty here.
That's Aunt Miriam. That's Lou's sister. That's Grandpa Lou's sister.
Oh, right. Okay.
They thought she wasn't like an alien aunt from like a B sci-fi movie.
Yeah. No, I do remember her. Oh, yeah, I remember.
This is a fun like little introduction to like the bickering brothers, which again foreshadows the movie.
But also, I just to just harp on Dee Dee a little bit, I think it's really stupid that like is Dee Dee that oblivious to the fact that Stu and Drew just argue all the time incessantly?
I think the answer is yes, Tiki. I think just the answer points to yes. And
Stu
also,
and Drew get along just fine.
Also, something just ticks me off about Dee Dee in this movie, just for no good reason, is that her pregnancy design is way off because she's far too fat for a pregnant woman. I mean, literally, next time you look at her, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's no way.
Come on, Dee Dee, you can't even get pregnant right.
Okay, maybe that sounds a little It sounds a little intense when you say
it. I took it a step too far.
Okay, let's talk about this because I love the character of Stu. I love Jack Riley as Stu, and again, let's acknowledge it here.
Has such a fun arc in this movie.
He does. Now let's say this too. There's some there's a Mr. Yamaguchi. He's on I just noticed this. He's on a little flyer, and Yamaguchi has a big role in Rugrats in Paris.
Yeah, good catch.
Anyway, so of course we should acknowledge it here too. Of course, unfortunately, in the past couple of years, we've lost Jack Riley, who voiced Stu, and we've lost Joe Lasky, who voiced Grandpa Lou, and they were both some of my favorite parts of the shows. I mean, this is a great. They both deliver a fantastic performance in showing how they all.
When you say that, Dragon, it's hard to even I don't even want to think about that.
They still given they all get the right screen time.
Stu. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, they all get proper screen times, and they both give. I think Jack Riley gives one of his best performances in this movie in certain scenes.
Oh, absolutely! I think it might be the same thing. There's
those are the emotional scenes. Like those are the scenes for me that get me a little emotional about the movie when we get there. But But I love what we're doing here in the writing and with the adults. Is I love with Stu. We kind of call him on some scary practicalities here, and that's one of the big subversions we have later on, where the parents finally get called and losing the kids. But with Stu's story, it's like, he's an inventor. I've always loved that about his character. And then Drew's being a tax man, being an accountant. He's calling him on, how are you going to, he being an inventor who he's like a freelance inventor, essentially. He has to sell his products to the toy companies. They will mass produce. He has to create the patent and everything. And now he has a new kid on the way. He's got no way of supporting his family. And his big plan is to win a $500 contest.
God.
So I mean, again, they kind of puts it in perspective years later. It's something that's never occurred to me before, like a recent viewing. He's like, oh my God, yeah, Stu is in deep financial trouble in this movie.
And then we also get some really good foreshadowing with Spike too.
We do, and there is a line. We'll get there later.
Not just the whole Spike's gonna maybe die, but also also just the whole being replaced, that whole theme.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I think I like to think that when she tries to wig him out by saying, "Hey, Spike's actual name was Paul before he turned into a dog," and one, I love that it's a failed attempt, but secondly, I think it's a reference to Paul Germain.
Oh, it could be. I wouldn't be surprised. It would be hilarious if they just randomly named the named him Bruce.
You know, he does have some die-hard moments in this, though, which is kind of funny.
That was the plan all along.
Yep.
Okay, can I just say one of the big cons? I really don't like most of the songs in this movie.
I'm simpatico with you there, buddy. I got you.
There's a couple that are good. Stu and Dee Dee's Lullaby is a good moment.
Yeah, it is.
But this is the Cree Summers. I'm embarrassed for Cree Summers every time I watch this scene, man.
As Angelica's tanking the song. It's not a good song, but Angelica's making it worse.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Bob gag here, like from above and like from a Bob. I love that gag. And again, Angelica's singing is so terrible it induces labor.
Okay, one of the things I'm gonna call back to a couple of things I noticed on my original Nicktoons Movie Month viewing, but one of them is I love how you want to talk about a diehard character, Dragon. Betty is the most diehard-esque character in this whole movie.
There is one that surpasses her, T. There's one that is directly pulled from Die Hard, and we'll get there.
Okay, but seriously, though, I love how kick-ass Betty is in this movie.
It already passed, but there's a really sweet moment with Lou. I really loved it. It's such a sweet innocent moment. These are the moments I always love.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know like, now that's what I call a baby shower.
Yeah, it's like a little innocent moment.
Yeah.
And it's always, that moment always touched me in the movies. Like, that's just so nice.
I hear you.
It's just, that's why I love Grandpa Lou. Those little moments. He's just so nice, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Despite his, despite his guy, what's it called? His narcolepsy. I guess despite his narcolepsy, he's such a
Dragon, can we just ask the audience to just fast forward through this next song?
Well,
when it happens.
Oh, sure. Well, no, we got it. They have to endure it like we're enduring it.
God.
Here's something fun. The nurse here, that's Edie McClurg. That's she's the Grace from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He's a righteous dude. That's who the nurse is.
But can we just rant about how ridiculous these whatever the hell they're supposed to be?
Yeah, and you gotta remember, it is intentionally ridiculous. So we always take that bit with a grain of salt. That it's a ridiculous commentary on the fact that there do exist special births and like people who think like the birth of the baby has to be an event. But like I said, it's like I think the ridiculousness just kind of like it irritates me. Here's something I learned. I don't know how true this is though, but there's a theory. I thought it might have been confirmed by a writer, but Tommy might have been born premature, and I think that would have added. I'm not saying, again, it's a hard thing to convey. That's why they obviously didn't put that in there. But assuming that writer was true, that would explain the concern and why they need like a special birth. And that would kind of justify a little more. But that's why they're so overzealous with like, we got to be the Lipschitz Child Delivery Center.
Oh, are you sure we can't just fast forward?
No. Yeah, this is
all right. Here it is, folks. By far the worst moment of the movie.
Let me talk about something else before we rant about this. I just want to say, Dr. Lucy Carmichael. She showed up, and I always loved her, and I want to say that she is she's the most competent character in the series. By the way, like the one who is the most competent, caring parent, followed by Chaz, I would say.
Yeah.
I was saying I love it. She's in this movie, and she's like, okay, I know exactly.
It's hard to pay attention to what you're saying when I'm just raging out on what's on screen right now.
One thing about this song that we have, did you know that this year there's like all these babies are played by by singers. I don't mean just people.
I don't care. And I don't care in an enthusiastic John Lasseter, we don't care sort of way. I just legitimately don't care who's. Did you see?
What do you want me to say?
This scene is so bad. It's so fucking bad.
What more do you want me to say? It's terrible, all right? Anyway.
I mean, like, why do they rate it? I mean, I guess it's foreshadowing to what's going to happen with Dil, I guess.
Well, this does create a big plot hole.
Okay, what's the plot hole?
It's the whole, Dil should be able to speak, and this proves that Dil should be able to speak.
Oh, God, you're right.
And again, that's the... It's like,
why do we have to think about freaking? That's another thing that really bothers me about this song, Dragon.
Let me say one nice thing about the song, aside from the fact that Lou Rawls is in this. Aside from the fact that Lou Rawls is one nice thing, because you're right, again, all the gross out humor in this. But
The gross out humor, I'm just gonna, without going into detail, I'll just say it goes way too far.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, the one nice thing I will say about that sequence is I like the idea that, when these kids wake up, they're kind of like they're processing. I like the idea they could speak right at the gate and kind of process it. Well, it's sort of like that beta phase. Like we never saw Rugrats like right out of the womb what their experience was, and that's the idea they're going for there. Now we have birth animated.
Yes, we have 1990s CG. Look at that!
I
love the T-Rex
and monkeys.
Yep, monkey.
I gotta tell you, this sequence has always stuck with me because it was so out of left field. I had to rewind. Like, what the heck did I just watch? What was that?
Apparently, apparently, Monkey he's watching in the comments. Apparently, he just confirmed that Tommy is in fact a premature birth, or at least that's the theory.
But still, that puts us back at square one, and we're not sure. Yeah. Well, thanks.
He just told me, like, yeah, Tommy is a premature birth.
Okay. Yeah. Again, story opportunities, folks.
So, do you like the naming?
Yeah, naming's fine. Dylan Prescott Pickles. It's fine. Again, basically, honestly, for me, and again, I guess I'm kind of sympathetic with Paul Germain here. Basically, the moment right after, like, the little. The build up right here, like, okay, it's like, this is your brother. That's all nice. But the minute he grabs his nose, that's when it all goes downhill. Like, okay, that's yeah, I hate him now. Like, we just took this sweet moment, this really great little moment here. And again, the moment I'm not clawing my eyes at the Dee on screen, and then it's all. Just pump the kid out the window. Just pumped him out the window. Come on.
Oh God.
I was saying for what this kid.
I think this is going to be the big divide between Dragon and I, folks, because I am very sympathetic to Dil.
I'm saying look at the stuff later on with Dil. That's the stuff that ticks me off with the most. I'm just saying this right now. It's just,
Wait. Later on, as in what?
In the movie. Later on in the movie. I got stuff.
The moment that gets me really emotional.
I don't think it's that. No, it's not that moment. If it's
okay,
the one.
Good, because we would have had problems.
There's other stuff. All right. There's other stuff that.
All right. So I do like how realistic this movie is in depicting what it is like for a new sibling, and I love the exhaustion, the animation on Stu and Dee Dee, the dark shadows under their eyes.
You're right about that. Let me tell you this though. I feel, and I'm not saying this is necessarily a problem. I'm just saying it's very apparent what's going on here. It just feels very. There's a feeling that. Okay, we're doing a movie. We need to up the scale. We need to do moves that are big and different. Big and different would be, okay, we have a new baby story, which will give us a new character, and of course it'd be the whole the sibling thing, which is not a bad thing. I'm saying that's it's new, and it's going to redefine the series because you can't just erase that. And the other thing,
can we just back up a second? I'm sorry. I really love the delivery of. Grandpa, can we go to the circus?
God.
Oh, Dragon, Monkey said the Mother's Day episode showed him in the incubator. So, yes. The Mother's Day episode confirms that he's a premature birth.
Oh, cool. All right. Thanks, Monkey.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I was saying is that, so actually the, crap. So your big move is that you have the new baby story, and also you have the fact that the parents are actually being called on the legit peril that their children are in. So that's kind of the big and the different move.
I love that. That is like legitimately a reason to make a movie out of the Rugrats. You know what I mean? It's like, and by the way, we never mentioned it when we were talking about the hospital, but how incompetent are freaking Lou and Boris in that scene? The babies literally walk right by them, Dragon, right by them.
They do. They're intense.
They push down the playpen and everything.
Again, come on. That's more on the Lipschitz care facility there because they just pushed it down. Like, come on, your place was secure.
No, I'm just saying, like, wouldn't you think that Boris and Lou would have at least noticed that, though?
Well, they are very old. Maybe they can't hear well.
Yeah, fair enough.
What past it, I just got to mention because it's a big nostalgic thing for me. I always love those Russians getting coffee and donuts. Pleasantries from an early age, it's like they stopped their bickering, they went inside, they got some coffee, and they got some donuts.
So, Dragon, I'm assuming this is one of your stew moments?
Well, it's in the song's nice. My stew moment's coming up. It hasn't happened yet. You know.
Okay,
Yeah,
I know which one it is then.
Yeah. Yeah. This is hilarious though. I just love Jack
Would
Riley.
you say that's like one of the few good Dee Dee moments right there, Dragon?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's in the song. She's fine. Look, she's fine in the song. All right. You know,
yeah, she's fine all throughout the scene, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And Tommy is fucking heartbreaking in the scene, man.
See, that's the thing that while I'm the song itself, that in the scene that's making me turn on Dee Dee in the scene though. I gotta admit, it's like, yeah, come on, Dee Dee, look at the poor kid. Does no one look around?
And I'm more sympathetic to Stu because look at Stu compared to Dee Dee. Stu's the one with all the dark, like the dark shadows under his eyes. I think Dee Dee's doing just fine.
The thing that bugs me about Dee Dee, we're gonna see this later on. This really ticks me off. The fact that she gets a freaking
I knew we'd make this sweet scene into a Dee Dee rant.
She gets like a freaking spa day, and she sidles Stu with everything, and then she's blaming it on him. Why is she? We'll get there later. I'm jumping in. But I mean, look at this. Look at heartbreak. Dee Dee, turn around, you stupid.
Yep.
Turn around.
And like we said, folks, we're just giving Stu a free pass on this, I guess. But
yeah, but I mean, again, he had that hilarious thing where he's just having the breakdown, her putting the binky in his mouth is hilarious. And again, it's a very nice little scene there. I don't know if you know this, Stu. There's a deleted scene. There were 2 deleted song sequences. I don't know if they were animated or not, but I know they were cut. Where Dee Dee and Stu, they were going to have a nightmare sequence where Dr. Lipschitz was critiquing their parenting.
Oh no! Oh god! Was it going to be like an Inception style, like they were both experiencing the same dream at the same time?
Well, maybe that's the thing. Maybe I don't. I wouldn't put it past them.
And Lipschitz is like the Ken Watanabe character.
And look, here's another thing too. I mean, look at this. I mean, I gotta agree with Paul Germain on this. Is that when you have a new baby, and this is like visual what we're seeing here, is that we kind of throw the other rules out because we have to establish it's a younger baby versus the still 1-year-old Tommy. Where Tommy, he's sleeping in a bed now compared to sleeping in a crib, where he is done for the rest of the series. Because now we have to show, hey, he's the older one by less than a year. The thing is, like a year, maybe a year and a half at most. That's as old as Tommy is. Yet the new baby
be a year and a half because the series started on his first birthday. So,
well, that's what I'm saying. Now we have a new character that gets put in perspective. It's something that's hard to refute. Now, kind of Jermaine's pointed that out to me. It's like I have to agree. Yeah, it is kind of defeating the rules of the show in a way.
Like I said, Dragon, I'm not arguing with you that Dil absolutely does break the show. He does.
Yeah.
My argument is that I think him in the movie works better than I think you're giving it credit for. Okay, also, I freaking love Lil in this scene.
Yeah, she's good in this scene. What I like with
Tommy, now you try it.
What I like with Phil and Lil in this movie is that they do kind of get, again, doing my research for this, they did get back to originally what Phil and Lil have always been kind of intended to be in this movie. They're the peanut gallery. They're the guys who they will turn on you on a dime if it's just what the consensus of the group is. They're the guys watching. There's like in for themselves. I mean, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about with Dil here. Like, he's just so. Again, it's just that logic where, again, why those babies come out when they're asking questions, Dil can't speak, and now the monkey's kind of established this for us, and I appreciate that. We didn't see the little chamber or anything, what's incubator, the little incubator.
Oh wait, hold on. Daddy's got to put in overtime so that mommy won't be so ashamed of his quarterly earnings.
I know, yeah, that's your favorite line, yeah.
That's my favorite line, Dragon. That's my favorite line in this whole movie. That cracks me up.
Yeah, I know, because I wrote that in my notes too. I knew you were going to love that line.
Oh yeah. I mean, I love that line so much because that's like the definitive line where it's like, if you heard that line as a kid, there's no way you'd understand the humor in it.
My tax deductions are crying. Oh yeah. Anyway,
by the way, Chucky is like super relatable in this scene. By the way, because I also get secondhand like that right there when he puts his hand over his. Get that same feeling when there's like a conflict and then someone else jumps into the conflict.
Right. Anyway, what I was saying with Dil is that now we've had kind of proven with the whole you need to be in the incubator is that Dil he doesn't exactly have the premature thing going on there, so it's just Dil is just for some reason we have no explanation of why Dil is the way he is.
I hate to play this card, Dragon, but based on All Grown Up, it could be autism.
I'm gonna say this though. Well,
I really
no,
hate
I'm
to
not.
play
I'm
that
just gonna-
card. I really do, because I don't play that card lightly. But it could be.
I don't know. I don't buy it, Tiki.
Because I have my issues with communication. Like I don't know.
Well, regard the point is, I don't think they put that much thought into that. I think they just wanted.
Oh, I'm sure they did, and I'm just saying, like, if we're connecting the fan theories here.
Okay, anyway, again, apparently it was a proven.
So this is your scene.
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
Yeah, this is Jack. Yeah, this is the scene right. This is where Jack Riley's just delivering. This is one of the best stew scenes ever in Rugrats to me.
Ever. Yeah, I agree.
And again, the premise of Dil again is that's if you really want to connect your dots, there's like, yeah, it's like, we're making Tommy the older brother at 1 year old. It doesn't make any sense, but who cares? It's such a great, beautiful scene here. Look at this. Mm-hmm. The love he has for his son here, and it's Tommy takes that to heart. And interestingly, what I like in a story context is where this gets us in this scene right here, where now Tommy, he's changed his tune on Dil. He's going to give Dil a chance. He's going to. I'm the brother. I have responsibilities. Which is a good
kind of shift into Act 2, right?
Yeah, and that explains why Tommy is the staunch defender of Dil, despite everyone as Tommy echoed. And remember, they do this for Tommy. They're doing this for their friend. We're going to get rid of him. We're gonna exchange him at the baby store. and again, it's a nice gesture for their friends there, and it's like there's no malice behind it. And now Tommy doesn't want to do that. They're getting legitimately ticked off at. We did this for you, and none of us. We won't even like him. Why do we keep this kid around? So again, I mean, it's kind of like all the pieces kind of falling together in that place, and of course, it leads us to a fantastic chase scene, which fantastic kind of driving scene.
I love how Chucky is just being so defensive in this scene.
And Chucky, Chucky's absolutely on. I think our characters are on the money in this movie, and I think that's
everyone is on point. Everyone has a moment to shine, I think.
Yeah. Again, like Chucky as the best friend angle, and again, what we're going to see explored with Chucky kind of subtly. Well, again, it'll be more explored towards the big kind of rift between the friends. Is that again, Tommy and Chucky were essentially brothers without the biologicals in there,
mm-hmm.
and they accepted that. That was an arc for them. I'm not saying they have to call that necessarily in the question. It's the fact that hey, these guys are like the closest that two friends could be, and then Dil, the actual brother, comes in here, and it's a rift between them.
So I don't know. Do you think it's a plot hole that Angelica doesn't get Cynthia back in the scene?
Well, I think the commercial thing distracted her, so I'll give it a pass.
Okay.
I'm just saying, she kicked her, she's distracted with the foot pain, then the commercial's back on.
And she doesn't know that the wagon's actually going to go outside the house.
Yep. Now, I love this, by the way. I love
Chucky just like, oh my god, what am I going to do?
It's like a heroic moment. Chucky has a couple heroic moments in here. They remind me why I love that character so much. Like this moment here where Chucky's like he could just stay there. He could, but he's like, no, I got to be there for my friend, and he chases right after. Those are the reasons I love Chucky, man. Those like he's got such a good heart,
Take it away.
By the way, the goat wear stayed for me though. We don't need this goat at all. This goat was forced. It was like a dumb joke. It's like, hey kid, it's like, hey, it's a kid.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but they actually use the goat in the series, right?
I think when Boris is involved, I think they brought back the goat, but it wasn't like a regular thing. It was very rarely that they bring back the goat. Wasn't like a regular player or anything. It wasn't like a Fifi or something. So again, now I love how our stories are starting to kind of get into play here. Now Angelica is realizing
do you think it's a missed opportunity that we didn't get the whole cliche like pan out to the world, like as she's yelling at Cynthia, just pan out to the entire globe.
I think it was played the way it needed to be played. We check in with Cynthia, like who's she calling to?
Okay, and I love the geography of this chase scene, Dragon, because it essentially lays out where our characters are going to be throughout the rest of the movie.
And let me just say, because again, we cut back to this a couple times, so just this whole kind of rolling down the city in the Reptar wagon. I love this sequence so much, and from an animation
so fun,
perspective,
yeah.
it's so spectacular, it's so kinetic, and again, what I'm saying, what this movie's kind of doing differently is that we're seeing the babies in kind of a greater peril than they've ever been. And so now there's a danger. Like usually, it's all going to work out for the babies. There's no concern there. In this case, the babies are in very legit danger. They're in a wagon barreling towards God knows how many life-threatening obstacles, and will lead them to a very life-threatening situation for an infant.
You know, I'm kind of shocked that there's never been a runaway Reptar ride.
Huh. Yeah. It's like a timing thing of it all. You know, it's like maybe if they wanted to, it's just the timing.
I mean, you know, like the Jimmy Neutron ride.
Yeah, I could believe me. I could see. I mean, I love that sequence. I would be so down for that ride. Reptars are still very popular, especially on the splat. You never know. Reptar's actually never waned in popular.
I think Reptar he's growing to be like the icon of Nickelodeon.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Buster Rhymes, he did the voice of the Reptar wagon.
Okay, nice.
Well, fun fact. Then again, this the sequence. I'm still so
growing up on Chucky is actually a plot point.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like adding to a list of grievances, right?
Yeah.
It's not
still kind of a plot point.
I guess, yeah. And again, just from me, I love my gadgets, love my vehicles, all that sort of stuff. So I love everything this wagon's chock full of. And I love the fact that we get to see in the wireframe. I love that fact that Stu got to build it. I always love that sort of stuff with Stu, especially.
Now, they also made a video game out of just out of this scene.
Yeah.
I believe it was a Game Boy game.
That wouldn't surprise me.
All right, so we're about to get into one of the biggest laugh out loud moments in the movie.
Oh, God. Oh yeah, for me it's the moment with Grandpa. It's later when they come back.
It's coming up. It's coming up. Not that. I mean, that's funny. Right here. We'll never find the babies with this joke in front of us.
Of course, basically the big American tail moment.
He's just so pissed off at this truck.
and Stu, he's such a reckless driver in this scene. He almost kills this guy, and again, he almost kills his own children,
right?
Unbeknownst to him.
Now, that's like a bizarro version of the American Tail trope, right?
Yeah. It's like where they actually interact with Five and put his life in peril. It's
right.
I will, I'm gonna point this out because I always harp on the Rugrats for these things with the parents, but I want to say this though. The difference is with a character like Stu. Stu cares, and we have tender moments with Stu. It shows you that he's not doing it intentionally. He's not doing it thoughtlessly. He means well. There's always like a bit where you can buy it back with Stu versus something where it's like you still critique him, but you don't hate him.
Yeah, right.
The fact that Dee Dee's oblivious and she doesn't really regret it at all, that's the thing.
Another laugh out loud moment for me is
cookie jar.
Grandpa with the cookie jar.
I know. That's the moment I'm talking.
Angelica?
Just the fact that he's looking at this little tiny cookie jar genuinely believing that she's there. And this is what I'm saying. So Stu called, and he got a call from Dee saying that she was at the spa. So she came back from a spa day.
A spa day when we've been emphasizing the whole first act about how much of a nightmare it is to raise Dil.
Yeah, I mean, Dee doesn't. Well, again, she's teaching, but I mean, she's got to be on sabbatical. So why are you not home, lady?
Really quick, I really like the kind of the Godfather style foreshadowing we get with the banana pudding.
Yeah, it's nice. Is it pudding or is it baby food?
I don't know exactly what it is. It might just.
I always assumed it was baby food. I never thought it was pudding. But then it's been a while. They probably said if it was pudding or not. And yeah, these are the gross
stuff with Dil. I could definitely go with that one. I won't argue with you there. All the bathroom humor with Dil is just.
I guess what I'm saying with Dil is that what it boils down to a lot of the time, aside from the gross out humor, is that with Dil, especially in sequences where they're pushing the wagon, like he's bopping Tommy on the head.
That really gets under your skin.
I'm just saying it's because of this, because he can't talk for some mysterious reason. Because again, I mean, he's figuring out the words. I mean, the point is, he's like. Breaking that rule, it worsens on the rewatch. It just seems like he just might be an a-hole, He just might be really just a jerk. He may understand just being a jerk.
So there's so many random moments of great comedy in this movie with the policewoman asking Dee Dee about the 1-year-old's connection to the mob.
Now, technically, Tommy does have connections.
Oh yeah, you're right. He does.
Mainly thugs, the wealthy. There might have been a mobster in there. That one Italian restaurant. That's more Angelica's connections, but you know, you got. Yeah.
Oh man, the Rugrats, man, they get around. You don't fuck with the Rugrats.
Don't.
God.
That's what I'm saying. Look, he's taunting. It's almost like he's taunting Chucky here. I know.
I hear you.
Again, it's just all those scenes where he bops him on the head and he's fighting him over the blanket. Like the scene that builds up to your moment, Tiki. The scene that builds up to that. That's what I'm talking about. Where Dil's wearing thin for me.
He's supposed to be wearing thin in that moment, though.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's connect. It's like it's not just it's been established. That's all I'm saying. It's like it's continuous. It's continuous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I love this conceit, by the way. And these are I think there's some clever bits in the writing where you know, Tommy thinks he has a compass, but in reality he has
around with the language in this movie.
Yeah, I love the responsibilities. Like it's the compass. When the second hand points, that's when he knows. Okay, it's all in. It's go in that direction. I love that sets him up for failure, and we, the audience, know that. Okay, it's a clock, not a compass.
Right.
And this is just the rules of the Rugrats. Usually, sometimes it doesn't necessarily hurt the thing. It just kind of makes me raise a question years later. No one hears this girl screaming and being falling down this infinite force that should probably kill her. I mean, that is a big fall.
You're right. And she's dead, folks. She's dead.
Oh, Angelica.
God.
Oh, here's a line right here. So, not all dogs go to heaven. That fun fact, I'm pretty sure is a reference to the fact that one of the writers on this movie, who again did not write on the series, David M. Wise, he wrote All Dogs Go to Heaven.
You know, it's funny because this movie definitely has some Bluthian qualities to it.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to bring that up right following that. Yes. There's definitely blue again, like the American, like kind of a twist of the American tale.
Well, yes, that, but more specifically, like especially in the second and third act, you know, just the whole the whole idea of like we can push these characters through darker and darker and darker stuff as long as there's a happy ending on the other side.
Now, of course,
I mean, especially in the finale. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Give this guy a proper introduction.
No, we have the wonderful Tim Curry as Rex Pester, and this is the most diehard character.
Not the first time we'll be talking about Tim Curry in this NickToons movie month.
And he's very much like a character who is not Thornberry, but Thornburg from Die Hard. Remember the nosy reporter who's like questioning.
Oh my God, you're totally right. Yes.
It's kind of funny. I love Drew freaking out and tackling Stu here, by the way.
Monkey confirmed that it's banana pudding because Dee Dee has a line about making banana pudding.
Oh, okay. That figures Dee Dee. She has to show off. But I have to make the pudding. I can't just buy the banana pudding.
Wait a minute. I think he might be joking. I think he might be referring to the whole I'm making pudding at 2:00 in the morning. Why, Stu? Because I've lost control of my life. I think that's what he might be referring to.
That's a Steve Viskin line, by the way. One of the great writers of Hey
I'm not Stu.
This is great. I love just him emerging as private.
The timing on that is so good.
And he looks so good too in that scene. This looks awesome. I don't know what to say. He just looks really awesome.
I love how Chaz is just kind of like he's just sort of like taken off guard. It's like, oh, whatever, just get in.
Something I love though in the scene, again, a lot just happened just now. I want to backtrace a smidge. Is that that scene again? One I love again. The parents are facing some scrutiny for all the times they've lost the kids. But here's what's bugging me about though. Dee Dee again. She's uber upset. But Dee Dee, this happens all the time. Why are you so worried about it now? I do again. While Dee Dee,
just to hate on Dee Dee some more, I like to think that Dee Dee enjoys the media attention.
God, that would stop. Anyway, I'll say this though, Dee Dee, she does deserve. Here's the thing: that reporter is intended to be going too far, and I get that. But here's the thing: I love how Betty stands up for Dee Dee and goes up, wants to go toe to toe with that reporter. That's great. But Dee Dee, at the same time, though, Dee Dee does deserve all of that, all that falling on her and they're just like saying, and you may never see your babies again. That serves you right for being an absentee parent, D, or being absent-minded. She deserves that scrutiny. I'm not afraid to say it. America, come and get me. I don't care.
So can we talk about just how much they build up the wolf in this movie?
Yeah, the wolf up building.
I was shocked about that watching this again.
Now, what's great about that wolf thing, Tiki, is that's where the Bluethian quality comes in.
Totally.
It's almost like a Bluethian take. And then, again, Dil is an a-hole right here. He's torturing that poor brother here. Anyway, but once again, the Bluethian quality is great with the wolf because it feels like we're taking
This is a monologue that kind of makes me a little bit embarrassed for E.G. Daily, by the way.
Yeah. I feel more embarrassed for Tara Strong having to say poopy and all that sort of
Oh,
stuff.
God. No, very true. I think E.G. Daily and Tara Strong are both like...
But yeah, Tara Strong, she takes in stress. She had a good time with it. I don't know.
Sure.
Anyway, what I'm saying with the Bluethian quality, though, is that we're taking these fanciful kind of fairy tale elements like dragons and
definitely
and wolves and like Little Red Riding Hood, and the kids taking the tale of Little Red Riding Hood as a cautionary tale versus like a fictional story. Which I love how all that fits kind of that Bluth. Basically, all the stuff in the forest feels like a Bluth movie.
Totally.
Especially when we ramp up the danger and we see kind of the eerie consequence. And also, there's a theme with the monkeys, and you'll notice this in the reporter, by the way. The Tim Curry reporter, he has a lot of teeth and he has very monkey-like features, and that makes him kind of predatory and kind of like he's antagonistic like the monkeys in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the big teeth, and especially with the wolf too, like big imposing teeth. That's the symbol of a bad guy in this movie. Yeah. And again, there is. They're confusing the myth with with like cautionary tale, like he got the wolf, ate the girl.
Oh, this is straight out of a Bluth movie right there.
Tommy doing the impression. That is great. That's great animation. I'm sorry, the animation on Tommy's impression is so good in that moment, so executed.
And this is the moment of the movie where you're like, oh shit. Like, this is really perilous.
I love the little kid mode. I've had this moment so many times growing up where they go into the Reptar wagon for safety in an instant. I love that little detail there.
And then, of course,
things are good.
Gee, I wonder if someone had a grudge against Disney.
I love that they strive to make that one scene. That one scene looks. It has like a Disney filter on it, almost like kind of like a fogginess. It's great. And here we have kind of approximations of David Spade and Whoopi Goldberg as park rangers.
Oh God, you're right.
That's who's doing the voice. It's them.
Oh man.
This is wimpy ranger who's just trying to sound like he's the big bad guy seeing it all, like, oh yeah, all sorts of stuff. Of course, Goldberg here, the very competent park ranger. We'll get that later. You know what I'm saying? This kid's trying to get him kills. Like a kamikaze, this kid.
He doesn't know any better. That's the whole point. You're being mean.
I'm just saying, if all those other babies are cognizant, I don't know. I'm.
All right.
How many times you gotta say don't push this thing and they can't keep him in the back seat? No one can keep him in the back seat.
Yeah, I mean, that's more on the fault of the characters than Dil himself, though. Oh God, and I'm sure
this is cool.
The fact that this thing turns into a boat.
I love it. I know, yeah, the fact that we have like the motor in it makes no sense. I don't care.
We don't care.
Yeah, it's fun.
I love how David Spade is technically the veteran here.
Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg is the trainee, and yet Whoopi Goldberg is way more competent.
You know what's interesting with the Bluth touches? It's kind of like Bluth. It's almost like a Bluthian take of Wizard of Oz, almost.
You're right. It kind of is. I could see that.
Because they're off to see a wizard, and
that's one of the things that Bluth loves to do. Is he loves to modernize fairy tales.
Yeah, that's
Rocket
kind of
Eagle
what.
was a good example of that.
Yeah.
Well, not a good example, but I digress.
Of course, we got the
example.
We got the 15 in there with Lou, as we always must.
Of course.
15 miles.
Now, I hope Dee Dee is like taking note here, like, oh, Stu and Drew don't get along, do they?
I don't think she's gonna learn anything here. I really don't. I just.
Again, I love how kick-ass and take charge Betty is here. She's got the megaphone. She's ordering everyone around.
Betty DeVille's always been a great character in that show. You know, she's always like she's she's not a book parent by any stretch.
So this song isn't bad. I just don't think it's needed. Like, you could just cut it out entirely and be fine.
They were thinking about doing another one like this when they were on land as like an army march.
I'm glad they did it because I think there's too many songs in this movie as it is.
Honestly, this is like a song you get purely out of like the mandate of like, well, we need. I honestly think it was, despite the fact Toy Story kind of disproved this years earlier. I can see some fear in this movie of like we're doing this is our first movie we're doing big screen. One, it's based on a show. Secondly, it's kind of our first stab at this sort of thing. We don't want to take too many chances, so we're gonna have musical numbers in. It's like traditionally an animated movie does. And again,
like nowadays, you would think adding musical numbers to a show that's not normally a musical in a movie would be a risk.
Yeah, and again, that was how the game was played back in the day, and they just and that also.
But Don
feeds
Bluth
into
is
nothing.
another example, Dragon. Take a shot every time we say the word Bluth. By the way, going back to his style, like he had songs, but the songs in themselves were almost kind of like distractions for the dark stuff.
Yeah. And the other thing and this is something that comic book films faced a lot of the time, to be quite honest, is like a point of comparison, the fact that they didn't trust the show's writers to work on because they felt they needed a movie writer, someone who's done a full-length animated film, which is why we get David Wise working on it instead of the show writers. I think it might save the movies. I think it would have improved the story in certain places, but I can't say what movie would have gotten because we didn't get that movie. So
I think in terms of being faithful to the show, this is very faithful to the show.
I think it's faithful to character. I think it's faithful to character and look, and I'm not sure it's the direction. And again, that's just I can't piece together a movie we didn't get. I can't figure what that is. So we got what we got, and it's fine. It's perfectly. It's great.
Someone needs to cast the perfect cast.
Cast the perfect. Oh.
Where's the perfect cast when you need it, right, Dragon?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure all this wood stuff and the boat stuff, that was all in the video game. I like how they make video games out of different segments in this movie.
Yeah.
The flying stuff was probably in there too.
Dactar. I love the delivery that Jack Riley says, "Pop, are you okay?" He's just so concerned. I would be too. I've screwed up so much today. I can't. Don't tell me. I actually dropped the giant reptar-shaped pterodactyl of my father.
So speaking of Die Hard, I feel like the pterodactyl goes through like a John McClane style transformation in the second half of this movie, or in the third act mostly, where it just gets more and more and more decomposited as the movie goes on.
Yeah, sure. Deconstructed.
Yeah, deconstructed. Yes, thank you.
And I love this. I hope this is what they're going for. It's the fact that because it's a watch, it's going to go clockwise. And I think that's why they keep going around in circles like that. I like to think that's the reason. I think it's funnier that way. But the point is, it's going around in circles. So I want to say Rugrats are they're in the woods for a day and a half. I mean, these babies have incredible survival skills.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And again with Chucky having anxiety over conflict, man, it's so relatable.
And of course, Chucky's fear is kind of being he sees like the big Coney Island style clown on the train. Fun fact about the monkeys.
A lot of shit just gets wrecked in this forest, doesn't it?
It must be. And, it's like how you see in like a wooded area, people like to have shopping carts and TVs and crap. Just dump everything in the woods.
And here's
and again,
probably the third worst song. There's a lot of bad songs in this movie, Dragon.
So with the monkeys here, a couple things. One, they actually brought in chimps and monkeys to. They recorded actual chimps and monkeys in the booth for all these monkey sounds, which is cool.
Oh, okay, nice.
And also, again, there's that big teeth thing. Don't they have like a similar smile to that the Tim Curry reporter?
Could be.
I gotta tell you, I think the monkey was like a crutch for him in this movie. I think they just wanted to spice things up, and like they didn't really. I don't think they needed the monkeys in this.
I don't think so either. I don't really think the monkeys had anything.
I just think it's legitimate I think that's the fear of approaching their first movie. I think you have a few touches like that. The monkeys are the most apparent, I guess. Like, hey, it's like we need something spectacular. We need something because we don't. It's almost like we're afraid that our series characters that are we see in like 20-minute increments won't sustain a 80-minute film by themselves. So we got to spice things up now and again with big spectacle things like a train crash and monkeys coming from that said train crash. Circus monkeys, nonetheless.
Grandpa, can we go to the circus?
Yeah. And this is where here's where you got the brother thing going on here, where it's he's doing some fun stuff, and of course he's got to tend to his little brother here.
Mm-hmm. And then of course Chucky's getting kind of beaten in the process.
And here's a blue thing right here, and I love this. This is a scary thing right here, where it's I love how the banana baby food or banana pudding, whatever it is, the banana acts like a chum to sharks with these monkeys.
Yes.
And I like that there's a danger, but it's more of like this is the thing that holds up better now more than ever did, because we know the horror stories associated with chimps and monkeys now.
Right.
And look at, because again, as the movie shows it here, it's just they just want to lick the banana off, and they're not going to do anything to the kid. They want to lick them. They're not going to tear them to pieces. But now when we see this, we expect that sort of stuff. Makes it more terrifying. And this is like the peanut gallery stuff. It's so perfect.
I love the timing on that. Just the awkward pause.
And here's the thing: I respect the heck out of Chucky in this scene. I just love Chucky's so loyal to Tommy here. But again, looking at it through Phil's perspective, why would we save this kid? Let's just not act at all here. It's whatever happens, happens. He's out of the picture. He's out of the picture. He's causing nothing but trouble. And again, it fits in with that peanut gallery thing. Just these are the guys who they'll switch on a dime, whatever side the consensus is going with. Now, let's see. So we have. Oh yes, we have another. Yet another awesome tease of the wolf here.
Yeah, like it blows my mind that the wolf, you literally do not see him until the final conflict. Like you get teases, you get visual nudges here and there, but there's no full-on shot of him until the very end.
Oh god! And by the way, as it occurred to me, we have the inside the mouth shot, which the Rugrats love to do. With the wolf.
I guess this is a pretty full shot of the wolf. I mean, I guess it's not a full shot.
Well, I'm saying later on we do a thing where he's lit differently. So I mean, it's still a big reveal when we have the wolf at his most intimidating. So it's still
sure. Oh
this
god,
is such a bad idea. And look at the handles coming off. Like God, he's so doomed. He's so doomed.
Oh man.
It's like a metal kite in the sky.
Like I said, I love how the area between the house and the car chase is the only area in which we cover in this movie. It's a very condensed geography.
We have a hilarious.
It feels like a big adventure.
I think, if I'm right, we have a hilarious Lil line coming up here, where she says, "That's different. I like Philip."
Yes. And then I love pay attention to the animation on Philip too. He's just very flattered.
I tell you, that baby chimp, that baby monkey right there looks identical to that reporter.
Oh God!
You know what I'm saying? You look at that monkey; it looks identical to him.
I'd have to see the reporter again.
Yeah. Well, you'll see him again, obviously.
I know.
Again, I love the design. I just love the design of this Reptar wagon. Like you pull the cord and I say move it forward, you pull, you push the back. You know. Of course, we have the one wish thing. Like, what do we wish the wish on?
Here we go. Pay attention to Phil.
Yeah, he is pleased.
He's like, yeah.
I'm supported. Of course, she blurts out the big secret. Yeah, your brother's not turned into a monkey. I love how easy, like, they almost buy into the thing with Spike, but then they kind of worry about that. But again, it's still kid logic, where if you say he turned into something, you have no way of scientifically proving that as a baby. Right. Like, oh yeah, he turned into a monkey. How did he turn into, like, Tommy's not even raising that question, he's just rolling with it.
Like, oh no, oh, this is fucked up, guys. My little brother's a monkey now.
It's almost like a trust exercise now of like, okay, hey, your brother's been turned into a monkey. Do we still go home, or are you going to endanger our one wish?
Sure.
Almost like a strategy play. Like, aha, you fell into my trap, Tommy. You are no longer leader. Ha ha. Again, this is sad here. And again, it pains me to see these two guys have a riff in their friendship, because I buy into this.
Definitely.
I mean, for me, I buy into this show not only just for like the Grandpa Lou fun of it all, but I mean, Tommy and Joey's friendship. And I love these two kids being buddies. You know, it's half the reason to watch this show and see them brought to a low lows like this. I think it's understandable low lows. They're not angry at each other. It's like they've drifted apart, and that's the sad thing.
As the movie said it would. It's a good, like I said, it's a good kind of setup and payoff.
Yeah.
Here's the Bloopian thing coming in again, Dragon, as if it couldn't get any worse. It's raining. Yep. Like seriously, we have to put a counter on just how many bad things is thrown at us in like the last 15 minutes or so of this movie.
Okay, now whether this song is good or not, you got to admit that. And I've heard this from various fans. This is their big nostalgic song from the movie.
This is probably the best song of the movie, I would say.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's a big memorable sequence from the movie.
No, I mean, I think this song's timed well. I think it fits with the mood. I think it fits the Angelica character really well. I think it's the most appropriate song in the movie. Not counting the lullaby, I guess.
Sure.
The energy on it is just so... It's a legitimately good rock song cover.
Here's a fun fact. Arlene Claspy, while she was always on the fence about Angelica, after this movie, she changed her tune on her. She started to like her after this movie.
I could see that, especially given the freaking heartbreaking stuff we're going to be getting with Angelica later on.
Oh, yeah. Man, I love teaming her up with Spike because it makes you not expect, because she's having so this difficulty with Spike. We're building to a really awesome Cain and Abel moment with Tommy and Dil.
Yes, we are.
Which is amazing. That's
the emotional high point of the movie.
Yes. God, this honestly, this would be a good meme for like when I think Dee Dee. I'm kind of like having a sense of dread like this reveal here. It's like, imagine that. It's like, imagine when you say Dee Dee, you have a da-da! It's like evil Beetlejuice,
Oh, God.
It's something very small, but I love how...
out, just stuttering, just losing it.
This is very simple, and it's like a little thing. You blink and you miss it. But I love how sad and concerned Charlotte looks. I mean, she looks really concerned. And there is a subtle arc with Charlotte in this movie because she throws the phone away at the end of this thing.
Sure.
And we get to see
Rugrats she literally jumps overboard to get her phone.
Definitely some give and take there, but it was hard. And this is what I'm saying. This scene, Tiki, look, I mean, I get where it's going is great. I love where it's going there. But this sequence, I just can't even realize remarking this kid just sucks in this scene before it gets to the big high point. It's like this. He was a kid you want to punk because he's drinking all the milk. Look at this face. He knows what he's doing in this scene right here. Look at his little lion face right there. He's like,
But here's the thing, Dragon. I have, like, my little brother, there's moments where he'll know what he's doing too, and it's annoying, but you gotta love him,
Yeah. Like, anyways, the point is now we have the big Cain and Abel moment.
Yeah, Tommy just snaps right here.
I mean, it is intentional that they got to ramp up what they've been building with Dil to get to the point where, okay,
Oh
I've
no,
had
I
enough of
love
this.
it. I love it because throughout the whole, throughout the whole second act of the movie, Tommy's been like the big Dil defender. So it makes so much sense to me that that he throughout the movie, throughout the second act of him just like defending Dil, like eventually something's gonna give.
Yeah, honestly, I think maybe it's just them doing their jobs too well with that. Maybe it's just like, again, they're supposed to make you, they're supposed to sell you on Tommy really just being fed up with Dil in the scene. Maybe that's why that's why I'm so down on Dil. It's just they're doing their jobs too well.
Could be.
Maybe, yeah, no, it's maybe. Again, always subjectivity as well a factor in there. You never know.
I love how Tommy just like he's almost kind of disgusted at the Cynthia. He's just like, screw that.
Yeah. I've had up to here with family, cousin or no. I'm done with it. Again, I love that, Tommy knows, like, again, the minute it's going to be chum on his brother, and he will be swallowed up here. And again, the dramatic music here, and just this is where Tommy, again, our staunch hero here, he's kind of looking at, what have I become? What have I become?
It's like I said, Dragon, just the look on Dil's face, the horrified look, and then him. Oh God, oh.
Even the monkeys are saddened by this. Look at him.
I know that did kind of crack me up a little bit.
Look at the one in the funny
hug.
Yep.
I
mean, yeah, it's hard. It's heartfelt. It's very Bluethian. Like, probably, honestly, the most. Would you say the most Bluethian? I mean,
the most Bluethian moment in the movie for sure. That and Spike's implied death. Those two things, I would say.
You're right about that. Okay, those two are definitely the most.
Yeah.
Oh, there's something kind of reminds me a little of Snow White and the Brave Little Toaster with all the scary faces and the lightning. And just talking about almost death here, I mean, this is still pretty startling. Where we drop a tree on him, and again, you have a feeling feels all right, but still.
I mean, yeah, like they're gonna kill like a main character in the show.
That's the thing, though. But I'm just saying, though, the way it's executed here, it is quite. If you're a kid, it's quite startling. You gotta imagine.
Sure.
Oh my God, we've killed Phil.
You bastard. I like how we don't linger on it, though. You know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah, sure. It's almost like, how sad can we get these moments? We just had a reconciliation, like a Cain and Abel reconciliation. Now we're going to have a reconciliation. Again, it's a reconciliation fest between siblings, and the ultimate one being Drew and Stu having a reconciliation. Yeah, they're kind of confronting Chucky, and these are the kind of scenes that show you why Chucky's a quality character. They're confronting with all the stuff they say, like, "Hey, man, you're always afraid of this sort of stuff, and look at all the bad stuff that's befallen you. You owe nothing to this. You owe nothing to this guy." And of course, the next time we're going to see Chucky, we're going to see what kind of baby he is.
Mm-hmm. And Chucky, it's like I feel like with Rugrats in Paris, they really came around to make him the main hero of the show, and not to take anything away from Tommy. While Tommy is definitely like the avatar for the show, right? Like he's like the focal point, the main face of the show. Chucky is by far the most sympathetic and well-developed character.
I will say this though, I have to rewatch it because it's been a long time since I've given like a full rewatch. But Rugrats in Paris, I gotta see. My recollection is that Tommy could have been more of a. They could have reversed the roles where Chucky's the lead and Tommy's like the best friend, where I think Tommy's just there.
I mean, that's how it is in Rugrats in Paris, for sure. Yeah, is that Chucky is the lead role and Tommy's kind of the sidekick.
What I'm saying is I don't know how much of a side. I think Tommy just might have been there instead of being like the reverse role. That's what I got to see when we get there at some point. Well, we'll see. And of course, E.G. Daily, lovely singing voice, singing the lullaby from earlier to Dil.
Oh yeah.
It's all cuddly. Look at it here. Warmth in a rainy place.
Yes,
That's where the
dragon.
love is.
Yes.
That's where the love is. And Tiki, I'm gonna gush over these clouds here. Oh my god, these clouds, amazing. Tiki, I just run the rewatch. I was so blown away by
Yeah,
these
but
clouds.
then we have Dee Dee just like, come on, can't you do anything else? You're already exhausting all your resources.
Why can't she push? Why can't she get covered in the mud? That's all I
That's
ask.
what I'm
That's all
saying.
I.
That's what I'm saying. It drives me crazy that she's just standing there bitching about
Anyway,
them.
back to the clouds. Seriously, for
Yes,
1998,
back to
these
the
clouds are so remarkable. I can't get over it, man. It's they're so photorealistic in '98. Look at them.
I see him, dragon.
It's amazing. Okay, anyway, off of the clouds. Man,
Yeah, and I got to
these
admit, man, these monkeys, we really don't need this. Like the wolf would have been sufficient. You know what I mean?
yeah. But what pissed off the monkeys was the fact that Tommy told them to go away. Why are they so mad? Why are they so mad at them? They're all
Who
like
knows?
all emotional, getting like it's like a street gang. I don't know what it is with those monkeys. This is great. Oh my god, I love these moments here. Chucky just swoops in. He's saving. He's driving the car. He's baiting out. This is awesome, man. I love Tommy and Chucky
There's a
saving
moment
each
in
other.
Lost that's kind of similar to Chucky saving the day with the Reptar Dragon. Lost will probably get what I'm talking about. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, but again, this is the brave sacrifice here on Chucky. He's now the bait, and again, it shows you like what kind of baby he is. He's always gonna be loyal to Tommy at the end of the day. He's always this. That is his symbolic brother, that Tommy Pickles.
Sure.
Yeah. Forget this little sack of potatoes I'm talking about. That's biological phooey. I'm talking. That's a real brother.
He's Tommy Pickles' non-biological brother.
It took you a long time to finally make that joke. I set you up for that like 9 times.
Yeah, you did.
I love this little bit of crossover here. Angelica, the monkeys is coming. The monkeys is coming. Of course, she's finally.
I love how it's just like right. I love how Angelica just gets so naturally entwined into the story. Like, oh, Angelica's here! Run from the monkeys, Angelica!
Of course, I love how now she's now hanging. She keeps hanging on to the things for dear life in this movie. Just every turn, now she's hanging on this monkey for dear life. And again, Tommy and Spike are reading. It's like a series of really nice reunions. And now we're building the atmosphere because now we get the magic hour lighting. We have like the the leaves blowing in the wind here. This is great stuff. Again, Chucky's cornered, and then again we're building this wolf, man.
Oh yeah. You're right, Frank. We do see full shots of him, but at the same time, we don't really get we get the magic hour light and everything when we get to him.
Well, you'll see, Tiki, the ultimate shot is like they do something extra special with them too. They do something with the eyes later on, which you'll see. That's kind of the big spectacle. Oh yeah. So now Chucky's he's a goner. He's covered in the proverbial chum. And again, we have the cracked glasses shot, which is kind of a way of showing strain on a baby. And now we're doing some inventive shots with it as well. Again, you have the question how much danger is really in, but again, modern day context, he could be a goner. You don't know.
Well, I mean, obviously, if this was happening in real life, all 4 of these babies would be fucking dead.
To be fair, they would have been dead.
Or anything.
They would have been dead since episode 1, if you look at it like that. If you want to be really technical. There's only like a hovercraft in the first one. I mean, there are a billion ways that could have gone south.
So again, I love how simple the geography is in this movie, where it all comes down to this bridge. I love, by the way, that they passed under earlier in the movie.
True. I love how Spike is like he's essentially a horse in this movie. Look at Tommy showed up like on a horse, like picking up his bike. It looks like a Western save. Finally, Dil's of some use.
Yay!
Finally, him killing them all pays off. Even Lil's paying little Dilly a compliment here.
Yeah. Aww.
Yeah. And of course,
Again, it kind of bothers me that we have this elaborate chase scene when the monkeys are just going to be useless in a minute.
Yeah, you're right. Again,
So
the monkeys.
I'm
It's
not
just
really saying much. I just, there's not really a ton to say. It's like, yep, we have a bunch of monkey shenanigans.
And again, the monkeys. Of course, I love the Angelica having kind of a monkey-like expression on her face the minute she climbs up.
Again, Dragon, all this stuff would make for a fantastic theme park ride.
Oh yeah. No, okay, I don't buy this at all. Like, come on, that is way too big of like a. There's no physics in that moment. There, it's just
this is a big trailer moment too, by the way.
Yeah. I don't know, Angelica hanging from the thing. That's fantastic tension. Right? I mean, come on, do we really need to fling her that high into the air to do that?
No, I'm saying the big trailer moment is the whole like, I think she's a witch.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah,
God, this is what I'm talking about with the Die Hard thing with this pterodactyl. It's just like as the movie goes on, it's just like
he's ticked off that he's
happened,
and he's ticked off at him for again for looking for his kids. And here's the line we got to quote, Tiki. He says, "And I never won an Emmy." That cracks me up. That reporter got us come up. It's there.
Yep.
And again, didn't he look monkey? Didn't he look like the baby monkey?
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
There we go. So again, oh no, circus monkeys. Oh, by the way, so I should have said this way earlier, so I can get in there like the last moment of the monkeys here. Lee Unkrich would love these monkeys. Lee Unkrich, because Lee Unkrich loves chimps and he loves monkeys, he would get a kick out of this movie. He probably did get a kick out of this movie. By the way, congrats for Lee Unkrich getting the Golden Globe. Yay!
Okay, yeah.
Here we go.
It's the eyes. It's the drool.
The lighting, and then Spike comes out again like a western. Here's just then the big battle. This is a big Bluth moment right here. Absolutely, Spike going in for the save, and they're cheering him on.
And Dragon, I gotta say, like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to handle the Angelica moment coming up. Like, when I watched it the first time, I was legitimately just crying through the credits.
And here's something nice, that Angelica and Spike are helping each other here, where Angelica distracts from to save Spike, and now Spike is saving Angelica. That's what delivers to Seymour. And again, Angelica earlier on had that foreshadowing line, "Not all dogs go to heaven."
Of course.
And of course. Again, those clouds.
And Dragon, you got to admit, like, when I was, of course, we have that nostalgia story I told you where, it was like kind of like the schoolyard stories of Spike dying. And so they do have a lot of foreshadowing of Spike dying in this movie. So.
Spike died for Dee Dee's sins.
Yeah. Oh, God. Isn't that
He
true?
did. But again, that moment with Angelica that we keep hyping up is just past. I got to tell you, though, it's very much like Grumpy crying over Snow White from Snow White.
Oh, yeah. You're right. That is a perfect example.
And this shot still looks so good, what we have here with Stu as the wizard, or the lizard in question, which I love. It's kind of a mix of like a wizard's hat.
It's almost kind of like a callback to like the early like robot Stu days.
A little, yeah.
Especially with the sounds he's making, the aww.
But again,
that Stu Grown is like classic early Rugrats for me.
But again, it's a great blend of like lizard-like features as well as like a wizard-like feature with a pointy hat and all the
legs. You're right. Yeah.
And again, here's kind of that Wizard of Oz vibe where, okay, now he's brave enough to face the wizard and ask. And this is great. They could go home, but no, he's wishing. Again, Tommy's so overcome with like, our
and this shot, and Angelica. Oh my God.
That dog.
It's not getting me as much now, but I'm telling you, folks, when I watched this earlier, I was a mess over this scene.
Thank God for good bridge support.
I know, right? Which, by the way, is another thing I don't really buy, but whatever. If it means
we don't care.
We don't care. Exactly.
And then Dee Dee fell through a plank.
The end.
Okay. And this is really nice here with Charlotte. Charlotte didn't get a lot to do in this movie. We still got like these sweet moments here. She's about to throw the phone overboard.
Yeah.
This gets me. This is the one that gets me where he says, "You got the pickle spirits in, maybe not the brains, but the spirit." That's so it's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, those two guys, man, they were so wonderful. They really were. Yeah. Oh, look at how touchy he is. Like, I don't even know where they got the tape. Well, I guess he taped it in there, but it's like, come on.
And we even get a reunion with these guys.
Yeah, the Russians got their monkeys back. Hooray! By the way, I think we have
Dragon. It's like the ultimate Don Bluth happy ending. It's like all these reunions and hugging
and Tim Curry loses his toupee. It's a happy ending for all. Look at this! Come on, this is... It's kind of funny. I think the directors on this were Russian. At least one of them was a Russian director, and then we have like the Russians coming back with the monkeys. It's kind of funny. And this is a nice thing that sells it all here. Okay, whereas as those brothers reunite, and Drew's forgiven his little brother here.
Yeah.
Good lighting, nice, warm, friendly lighting, and we go awesomely full circle with the Indiana Jones, the Okie Dokie Jones.
Oh
man.
Yeah, this movie's so good.
I hope Spielberg.
I know people have problems with it because of Dil, but like, this movie is better than it has any right to be.
I'll give you that. People, yeah. Critics could have been. I think critics could have been a little nicer, especially at the time. They could have been a lot nicer to it. But,
just because, like, as we've already said, like, this movie, it has pathos to it, and it could have very, very easily taken the easy, like, Hey Arnold the movie route. And just made a cheap like episode of the show, But no.
Let me say this. The moment we have, because I've been pretty down.
Wait, hold on. We have to talk about this song, Dragon. We have to talk about this fucking song.
Come on, I want to
blast of a song.
Trying to say something nice, but okay, go on.
I'm just saying this song is just like. Go ahead.
Well, I'm saying to say something nice about that. I love with the ending. We didn't do like the cliche thing. Where he didn't just drop like the ice cream. Like he held it up there, man. Then we cut back to our original 4. And it was like there was a nice ending we had there. Now he's part of the adventure. Like now they have an extra baby to, to get the ice cream. They earned their, they get the monkey ice cream.
You like these credits?
I do. I can imagine. Yeah, I like the credits, like the painted still quality of them. I like that. No, look at this still. It's a beautiful still here with Stu and Tommy and that light.
Oh yeah,
really nice.
All right, so I guess Dragon, we should probably be getting into some final thoughts since it's the credits and whatnot.
We have a post-credit scene though, so.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Well, you want to start with final thoughts and we'll talk about it as it comes, or what?
Yeah, sure.
All right. We'll sandwich it. You start, and then I'll go after.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, folks. I mean, this movie, it's such a time capsule for me. Like, I think this song, "Take Me Back," it absolutely like encapsulates that Dragon. That's why I got so excited. Just, I was like, oh wait, we have to acknowledge the song. It's so nostalgic. And like we said, I think this movie honestly gets better for me the older I get because. Obviously I can relate to the adult jokes more, like the whole like, oh, daddy's got to work overtime because mommy won't be ashamed of his quarterly like that kind of stuff is great, and that kind of stuff makes Rugrats in general really fun to watch as an adult. But other than that, like I said, like we keep going over, just the Bluethian quality of it all is just amazing in this movie. Like, I really think this movie is just seriously underreported just how heartfelt and dramatic and full of pathos this movie is.
Yeah.
And I can understand the hate for Dil. I really can. And with Dil, I won't defend Dil in the slightest when it comes to how he is in the actual show. I really won't. I understand he's a problem in the context of the Rugrats in general. But just, just for this movie... I don't know. I get there are problem moments with him, but I think his arc is satisfying. Right? I mean, Tommy's arc is satisfying.
Yeah.
Well, like it.
Well, for me, it's
right.
it's not perfect, but it is kind of the jumping it's kind of jumping the shark in premise, but it looks so good. The characters are the same characters you know and love. it was a great start. It was great to see, you know, Nickelodeon getting the theatrical treatment with the film, and that still shows to this day. It shows a little sheepishness in the story with, you know, monkey elements that we were kind of going over with, you know, like those elements that seem like, again, we're insecure, we're not putting as much faith in ourselves as we should, and it kind of shows, and it reflects how new this was to the studio at the time, and how new this was to the animation industry for Nickelodeon specifically, bringing a TV show to, you know, to giving it the, you know, the big screen treatment. And we kind of seen this imitated a lot of times. I'm not saying this was the first time it was done, but it was definitely like a very notable time, especially in the days where we nostalgically reflect upon this all the time. When I give it the business, folks, I give it the business the same way I give the Rugrats episodes the business. That, again, at the end of the day, there's still a lot of love, there's still a lot of quality, there's still a lot of nice stuff to say about it. And again, I can't take away from the quality of this production. Just, you know, you got a few moments that don't hold up necessarily, and again, a few considerations to make now. That, yeah, Dil kind of defeats the premise of the Rugrats, but it doesn't mean the movie is bad. That's kind of where I'm at with it at the end of the day. You know, it's a fine movie, and it deserved better than it got from the critics. But, you know, again, it did have its issues. That's where I'm at with it. You know, it's a fine movie. And again, poor Grandpa Lou here. And again, that's silly goat.
This movie, damn it.
I love the fact that he retrofitted the reptile wagon to a little easy chair.
Yes.
As like it's drinking the arm in an umbrella.
Clash B Kushbo.
Yeah. So overall,
classic.
Good movie.
Dragon, should we announce which one we're doing next?
Oh yeah, sure. We'll tell them what we got going on next. You tell them.
It's the do the math on it. It's Jimmy Neutron, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. If I was wrong about that, then that would have been embarrassing. But
2000
Jimmy Neutron.
Boy Genius, the movie, not the show.
Yes. Very importantly, yes, we're talking about the pilot movie that launched the show.
Yes.
Well, that's all for now, folks. Join us next time as we make like a sponge and absorb more awesome Nicktoons nostalgia on
NickToons Movie Month.
Nick.
Nickelodeon. I never got my Emmy.
Grandpa, can we go to the circus?